Welcome back to another late night video. Today's video is going to be a very important one because we're going to be discussing success. And I'm going to tell you that in order for you to succeed, what you need to do is you need to find a simple and logical question that underpins specifically what you want to achieve. And the answer to that question is the solution that you're seeking. So let's take a simple example. Let's say, for example, you want to get in shape, or you want to get in shape. So, what is the question? So, your problem is that you're out of shape. The question is, how do I lose 10 pounds? How do I gain 20 pounds of muscle? The answer to that question, that's a simple question. The answer to that question is, I have to, and then you fill in the blanks. Now, the answer is actually a little bit more complex than the question. The question has to be simple. The reason the question has to be simple is because you don't want to confuse yourself with how you can respond to that question. So if somebody asks you a very complicated question, you might not know how to respond. But if somebody asks you a very simple and straightforward question, you might come up with a couple of answers. Now, it doesn't mean that every answer is correct, but it just means that you're going to be able to engage the part of your brain that is coming up with answers. So ask yourself, what am I struggling with? What are my goals? And what am I trying to achieve specifically? And based off of your situation, based off the context that you're in, you're coming up with different answers to that question, to the one question that you're asking. So you don't want to ask yourself a million questions. That's not going to be helpful. So you want to ask yourself one question relative to the context that you're in. And the most important thing to understand is that if you're in a situation or a context that has a lot of moving parts, there's a lot of steps involved. What you want to do is you want to look at the next immediate step, which means what needs to be done now. So what I'm trying to tell you is if you want to get in shape, the question is not what kind of shoes should I buy, right? This is very important because the next step to that goal is not the shoes or the clothes, right? It's really the transformation. So you have to think about the transformation that needs to occur to get you from here to there. It's not the little tiny details or um, the specific items and variables involved in you making the decision. So you don't want to confuse yourself and talk yourself into more open loops. What you really want to do is ask yourself, based off of the transformation that I want to see, either in my body, either in my mind, with my confidence, with my relationships, with my money, with my, I don't know if I said body, but with my body, what do I need to do now to facilitate that transformation? So if you chunk it down into small steps, it's very likely that if the steps are too small and too insignificant, that you're going to delay the process and you're not going to focus on the right things. So I mentioned this in a previous video, which is that you want to reduce the amount of friction that you're experiencing, the amount of resistance that you're experiencing as you make a decision. So if you put too many things in front of you, if you put too many variables in place, you're just not going to do it. It's the same with these videos. Remember, when I first started recording my videos, camera was over there, I was looking over here, I was using my microphone, I didn't have the right chair. Like I didn't have everything in place to create, and I'm still upgrading, right? I have this microphone now, like my camera setup is nice and whatever, right? I think it's a bit laggy right now because I'm in the dark, but regardless, let's see if I could fix it. Will that help? Maybe. Okay. My face. So anyway, you don't want to create too many steps because when you create too many steps, you bog yourself down with the details of I need to do this and I need to do that first and I can't do this until this gets done. Just do it. You just got to start doing the thing. Whatever it is, do the thing. Do 10 minutes of jumping jacks and push-ups and squats in the morning, right? Do 10 minutes of approaching new people. Do 10 minutes of meditation, right? Do 10 minutes of working on whatever specific skills you need to work on for the next business that you want to launch. Do 10 minutes of developing your resume. Do 10 minutes of dialectical dialogos. And what is that? Well, that's the Socratic dialogue method of basically coming to different conclusions that are actually very relevant to the problem that you want to solve. This is something that I'm going to be doing in the community, by the way. And I'm a bit tired right now, so you'll have to excuse the more kind of mellow nature of this video. But just keep that in mind, right? You got to do the next thing that's going to help you facilitate the transformation. Don't worry about things being perfect. Just get it done. And by the way, to address the ASFM's question, it wasn't really a question, but she made a statement here on my video entitled "Why You Don't Do What You Say You Will and How to Fix It," which I recorded June 14th, which was 5 days ago. She said, you wouldn't believe how many times I wanted to do something and procrastinated and endlessly. If you've done that enough times, you lose self-confidence. So that's true. I want to mention a couple things around that. The first thing that I should mention, if you're experiencing this particular issue that ASFM is describing around losing self-confidence when you've tried, when you've done something many times before, or you've procrastinated on doing something many times before, is watch the video, first of all, entitled watch this if you're feeling discouraged, how to encourage yourself. That's the first thing, because the more discouraged you feel, the less motivation you feel in your body. So you're less likely to actually do things if you're discouraged. So you want to be able to encourage yourself, but also you need accountability and support. Because think about it like this, right? If you the reason procrastination stops is because you experience an existential pressure that requires you to complete the task. So typically speaking, it's like the typical school scenario, right? Which is that night before a test or an assignment, you know, all-nighter, you pull an all-nighter working for 10 hours. So you have the ability to do it. You just need the deadline. You need the external pressure in order for you to get the thing done, which means, tomorrow you're writing the test, you're going to be seeing the teacher, you're going to be sitting at your desk, and you're going to be writing this thing, and you're going to be graded on it, and it's going to have a tangible outcome associated with it. But we're not actually experiencing that necessary pressure, that necessary stress to mobilize the neurochemicals that actually get us to do the thing. So you have to mobilize dopamine, you have to mobilize adrenaline, you have to mobilize different resources, and then also see value, specific value in the goal, and frame it in such a way and be very intentional with how you approach that particular process. There's a lot of steps here, but it's important to make sure that we collectively put all these things together, which is also why if you decide to practice for an hour playing soccer, you're probably not going to practice that hard by yourself. But if you're going to soccer practice when all your other teammates are there, guarantee you're going to be doing the drills, right? Like the coach tells you to. So it's going to be a requirement to have systems in place that actually keep us accountable to whatever process that we need to go through to achieve some kind of outcome. So ASFM, this is not an uncommon thing. Everybody experiences this. This is completely normal. That's why teams exist. That's why communities exist. That's why we do everything in teams. We're social creatures. So that's not surprising at all. I'm assuming that if there's something that you want to do, it's not like you're arranging that you're going to be going to the gym 3 times a week with a group of 3 friends, right? That typically that's why people have gym buddies, to keep themselves accountable. And if somebody's the motivated one, I guarantee you it's going to happen every time where you're going to show up to the gym, right? So that's why coaching exists. That's why it's actually there. It's not like you can't do it. You can do it, but you just need a facilitator. You need a mediator. You need somebody there to kind of guide you. This is like what a therapist does. Like a good therapist, what they do is they ask a series of questions. They unearth questions. They unearth information, and then allow the patient or their client to be able to see what they didn't see before, and then come up with the solutions as the client or the patient knows. They come up with the solutions that they know need to be implemented. So it's not like you telling the other person what to do. It's the solutions basically arising through that dialogue, through that coaching, accountability, support system process. This is actually the reason why I'm launching the Community on School, which is going to be happening soon, because I'm realizing that it doesn't matter how much like value and information and guidance. It's like if you're just watching something, it's not going to really resonate. So I need to be able to talk to you live on the Zoom, right? I need to be able to we need to be able to be together and to talk about things and to work things out, right? And to have, weekly, multiple times per week group calls. Like I'm going to have the course in there, the community is going to be in there, where everybody's like supporting each other. We're like a team, right? We're basically like a team coaching each other and helping each other. And I want to be facilitating all of this stuff to make sure that I'm keeping you accountable to the way that you want to change, whatever that change happens to be, any kind of change. So yeah, look out for that. But I just wanted to cover that today, just to let you know, right? If you're lagging behind and you're complexifying things, simplify everything, right? Come up with a simple question that's going to move you towards transformation, and then come up with answers. And the answers to that question, to the singular question, which has got to be a good question, specific question, are going to give you indications of specifically what needs to be done. And then once you find it, you go ahead and do it. And as far as like the other accountability stuff that I mentioned, which is absolutely mandatory and critical, it's in the pipeline. So just be patient with that. But I hope that was helpful in any case, right? Because sometimes it's good to know that, okay, when I'm by myself, I'm able to do things. So so in addition to what I mentioned, also make sure that you have a specific purpose. Like, what is the reason behind me doing this thing? So have good enough reasons. So come up with all of the reasons. Like if you say, oh, I know my reasons are, come up with 3 more reasons, right? Come up with more reasons, stack all the reasons. And then what you do is, before you make the decision, you set your intention. So you tell yourself, my intention to do this thing is, and then you state your intention out loud, right? You're actively doing that. So you could bring your best self forward to that situation. So I hope that was helpful. I'll leave it there for now. If you like the video, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. And that's it. If you have a comment for now, just leave it in the comments. Or if you have a question, let me know and I can answer it in a video. And look out for that school community soon, but I'll be announcing it. So until next time, I'll see you soon.